before we talk about anything, let's just address the elephant in the room. I accidentally chopped off part of my mustache, and I was too lazy to go back to short.
I didn't
and
even
let it
notice.
Regrow.
I didn't either.
Yeah, so I just wanted to get.
Now that you pointed it out, I'm not going to stop looking at it. Thank you.
We just had to air it out, okay?
Yeah,
But-
I shouldn't even say anything.
That's
No one would
fine.
notice.
No, I noticed. I had to. That was for me. Okay, to ease my anxiety. Anyway,
Yeah, yeah.
we're here for She-Hulk, the finale, episode 9. Whose show is this, Marvin?
I don't know.
It's not my show.
This episode was like a fucking fever dream. I don't know what the fuck was going on.
Here's the thing. There's almost nothing to talk about in terms of plot of this episode.
Right.
So let's just cut the bullshit and just get to the end and talk about that. Brief.
The intro was amazing, though.
Yes.
I love the intro.
brief little plot synopsis until it all crumbles and falls apart. Yes, the intro is a nod to the 70s Hulk show with Lou Ferrigno, almost shot for shot identical
Right.
to that
I figured it
show.
was.
That
I
was
actually liked the way she looked there.
yeah,
I'm
that
not gonna
show.
lie.
That
She
show
was looking like a savage.
that was cool. I actually learned something too, Dusty. You mentioned this in one of these She-Hulk conversations that his name wasn't Bruce Banner in the show; it was David Banner. And I found out that like a direct quote from one of the producers at the time was like, the name Bruce Banner's too
It's
gay.
too gay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Really?
Like what?
It's a macho name, bro.
Yeah, I don't know.
I knew that, but I didn't know if we should
Bruce
go
is
into
gay?
some 1970s CBS executive who thought the name Bruce was too gay for film.
I mean,
That
I
is
think it's funny
crazy.
by today's standards. It's funny. Like,
Yeah,
like,
sure.
How is
Bruce
that?
is.
It's
yeah,
not
what?
even. That's not even I don't even find that offensive. It's just like so stupid that it's funny.
This is entirely stupid.
Right.
Yes.
So, yeah, we get that opening, which was pretty cool. This episode picks up where the last one left off after Jennifer fucking hulked out because she got doxxed. In this one,
Yep.
She-
Locked up.
she gets locked up by.
Don't let her out.
She gets. You have a beautiful voice, Marvin.
Thank you.
She gets locked up for by the Department of Damage Control in the same cell that Blonsky was in, which is pretty funny. And,
That is funny.
And
I didn't notice that.
she's released under the condition that she wears an inhibitor, so she can't transform into the She-Hulk.
Which we now know is useless.
Yep, it's useless.
Right.
She also
It is.
loses her job at the firm, has to move back in with her parents, and in an effort to escape all the fucking chaos of the press kind of fucking harassing her and all this stuff, she decides to take Blonsky up on his previous offer that she could come stay with him anytime, so she heads off to his ranch.
Yeah.
At the same time, we got Pug and Nikki. Yep.
Yeah.
Pug and Nikki have concocted a little plot. Nikki got an in with the intelligentsia trolls.
Mhm.
She posted a video of Jen in college dancing under a fake name and was invited
She
to
got that AOC video.
yeah, and she was invited to a event that they were holding. So she goes with Pug to try to investigate and figure out who the Hulk King is. And it turns out this event is also being held at Blonsky's ranch, and we find out
They try to make you like believe it's him behind it. Like,
yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, I knew it. And I was
Yeah.
wrong.
and we
They
also
try
get
to make you believe a lot of things in this show along the way. None of it turned out to be true.
we get the most massive
Surprise!
twist in Marvel history that Todd is the one who founded Intelligentsia. I'm being
Which we kind of.
I'm being sarcastic.
I know.
Come on,
Yeah.
Marvin, come on. Give me.
I was
more
actually
credit
fine
than
with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they would have just kept it like that, I kind of would have been okay. I don't know.
Well, so
I
initially,
know it's like stereotypical ending and all that, but
well, that's sort of the whole point of the show. But,
yeah, but
and so that's the big reveal is that Todd was the one who founded Intelligentsia. No surprise. He wanted to. They basically all don't agree that she should be She-Hulk. She doesn't deserve it. She's not interesting. All the stuff that trolls say, which some of the stuff in this little section of the episode was fucking hilarious because
it was, yeah.
there's like you hear the trolls like kind of talking in the background. And at one point when Pug was like in this little group,
oh man,
Todd says that Todd's like hyping up Pug. He's like, this dude is dope and he's hot too.
yeah, he's like, yo.
And then you hear a dude in the background mutter. He goes, yeah, I'd smash what?
Yeah. What?
And I thought it was kind of funny because, like, you know, we've made the joke too. All these like fucking incel trolls on YouTube and Twitter and all this stuff. Like, their big problem is they're probably just gay or they're unsure and they're like super self-conscious about it. So it's like, just come out, bro. It's 2022. You're good. You're fine.
I feel like the you know, the incel humor was funny, but they did it a little bit too much. Like it became like the fucking literally the plot of the fucking
Yeah.
the intelligentsia thing was like the plot.
Yeah. And this scene sort of spirals out of control. Jen busts in, finds out that, like, oh shit, this is intelligentsia. Todd's here. Blonsky's here, and he's the abomination giving a speech. Pug's here. Nikki's here. Fucking
Right.
Bruce comes busting through the ceiling. Titania
That was
comes
funny as
busting through
fuck.
the wall. And
Yeah.
then she, you know, she's like, whoa, wait a second.
Yeah.
And this is like the massive fourth wall break, which, okay, this is what we're here to talk about. And this is what everybody's talking about on the internet. And I'm sure.
Oh yeah, this fourth wall breaking was on another level.
So, listen, this is like straight out of the comic books. There have been times in the comic books where she literally rips through the pages of the book. So it's very on brand for She-Hulk as a character. And I liked it. I thought it all worked. I thought it was funny. In this scene, Jen basically is asking the audience, like, this isn't what you guys want, is it? And from the viewer perspective, it's like the viewer exits the show back to the
Yeah.
Disney Plus menu. And She-Hulk busts through the thumbnail
Yeah.
and is looking for another thumbnail. And she's like, making Marvel Assemble or whatever it's called. And she goes into
Right.
that
Behind the
thumbnail.
scenes. Yeah.
And she actually comes into our real life universe and she marches into fucking Marvel Studios
Mm-hmm.
demanding to talk to Kevin.
Yeah.
And it turns
And
out,
before that, Dan, you mentioned joining a Feige cult, but it seems like the writers of She-Hulk beat you to that. They already got that cult
oh yeah,
in action.
I'd be part of that shit. Well, again, this is why I liked what they did in this episode because I thought there was a lot of really funny stuff. And it's
Yeah.
revealed that Kevin is not Kevin Feige. It's a fucking like AI robot. Very
Yeah.
reminiscent of MODOK, to be honest. And he's sort of, it's almost like the architect from Matrix, right? Like he's explaining to her like, yeah, I'm an AI and I come up with all these plot points for the shows and movies and it's all like
Yeah.
algorithm based. And she's like, yeah, but this like makes no sense. Why does every show or movie have to end in this big spectacle that makes no sense?
Right.
This is my show. Why is Bruce showing up to save me? And like, you know, she's saying all the things that like, essentially it turns out that this show was just one big troll for fans and critics. Really.
Yeah.
Because it
Pretty
addressed.
much.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I thought it was funny how they gave the robot the little Kevin Feige signature hat that he
Mhm.
always fucking wears.
Yeah, it was really funny. And, you know, I made the joke last week that like it seems like this show is written like week to week. This really felt like that. It's almost like they scrapped everything they had and were like, we need to come up with an
Yeah.
episode real quick because it's like they're addressing all the stuff that goes on week to week in like terms of narrative from fans and viewers and stuff. So yeah, I don't know. I really like that part of it. And just the fact that they answered basically all the things that fans are saying in every way possible. It's like, you know, she says at one point, hey, when are we getting the X-Men? And then like winks at the camera and like, you know, all this stuff. She mentions at one point that, you know, oh, this isn't even a show about like what's the word I'm looking for? Reluctant hero. She's like, this is just me getting screwed over.
Yeah, she really yeah.
It addressed literally all the, we've even said the things. It addressed the fact that like it pointed at the fans who wanted like this crazy Marvel over the top spectacle of fighting. It even addressed Dusty's fucking issue with the show that it's like not a legal comedy or drama really. So this show is like so self-aware, the writers, that I have to believe that they went into this just like, yeah, we don't really know what to do, so let's just fuck with people.
That's just yeah. Imagine if they did scrap everything. Like that's a pretty epic fucking task, I think.
And I don't think they scrapped everything, but
Right.
I'm
But
just saying,
imagine if they did.
like, on one hand, people are saying that the show wasn't very strong in terms of writing. I think this proves them completely wrong. Like, it was so strong that it fucking literally predicted. It was almost like like one of those like sociological, like psychological behavioral pattern tests where it's like
Like an experiment.
like a social experiment. Like if you give people a thing and then you could predict their outcome, because that's almost what they did episode to episode.
Yeah.
Because every episode addressed the criticisms that the previous episode got.
Right.
So I thought that was
some
fun.
of them addressed criticisms like before they even happened.
Yeah.
Like when we first saw the
Right.
you know, like the people talking online about She-Hulk, it was like, damn. And then it happened.
Mhm.
They literally reacted the same way.
Yep. So I thought that part of it was brilliant. Now, whether that's a strength of the writing staff and how like a big brain they are, or it's just more of a factor of how sad these trolls actually are because they're so fucking predictable in their complaints and their bullshit.
Yeah.
So I liked all this stuff. I thought it was cool. I thought it was funny for the most part. And the show wraps up with basically her rewrite of the ending of this season. And it's her at like a fucking family barbecue with Matt Murdock showing up because she likes him.
Yep.
And there's just some funny banter between Matt and her family. And then fucking Bruce Banner fucking shows up and he's like, hey, everyone,
Yeah.
I got somebody to introduce you to. This is my son, Scar.
What was up with his fucking hair?
Oh my God. Worse CGI, even worse than Jennifer, whose CGI in this episode had seemingly looked better than the whole rest of the show.
Yeah, his hair was looking crazy. Is that like
He had the
because
biggest
of the planet? Like, I don't know what the fuck that was.
He had that LeBron James hairline, that shit that's like up here. But
No, it was like he had a buzz cut at the front, and then at the back he's got this little weird fro looking.
no,
thing.
that was paint that was on his forehead. It wasn't hair.
Was it?
The CGI was just so bad you couldn't tell.
Oh.
Yeah. That was some shit that I could like literally make in After Effects. That was
Oh
bad.
my god. I thought that's funny.
And you know, and a few minutes prior to this, while she's talking to Kevin, you know, there's even a moment where they address the CGI, and he's like, "Our CGI team is currently working on another project," and they play the Black Panther theme. You hear the Wakanda drums, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So there was a lot of like really funny, like meta stuff. Let's get to our thoughts on this because I think this is going to be very divisive amongst us. And I just want to say, I'm so happy we have this podcast to discuss reasonably our opinions on this stuff, because I got into a couple of Twitter interactions actually, where all I wrote was on Twitter that, hey, I basically just said like, I enjoyed the show as a whole, but I don't understand why we needed 9 episodes to arrive at really what is just an introduction for Daredevil and Bruce's son. And then I got so many people being like, you just didn't understand it. It's okay to have a show about nothing. Look at Seinfeld. Somebody literally said, oh, this must be a dude. And I'm like, yeah, I am a dude, but I literally said that the show was good. So like, don't lump me into the category of fucking incels that just hate the show for no reason. So like, you know, it's my mistake for thinking I could have reasonable discourse on Twitter.
True.
So I shouldn't have even brought my opinion to the platform.
You can tweet hello on Twitter and trigger somebody, Dan.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I don't know. That was a funny interaction. It made me laugh. But like nowhere in my tweet did I ever say like I didn't like it or it sucked or any of that stuff. All I said was simply, did this have to be 9 episodes? That's all I said. So I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to go over briefly my thoughts on this and then I'll send it over to you guys. But I don't understand what the purpose of this show was. You could sit there and say that I just didn't get it, or I'm missing the point, or all this stuff. And maybe I am. But
Nope.
The show was about nothing. And a show about nothing is fine. However,
Nope.
They deliberately spread little seeds of story and plot with like, who's trying to steal her fucking blood? Why are they trying to steal her blood? And that never got paid off or resolved.
Yeah. They baited
I
you,
understand that
the
complaint.
fans, the people that were actually interested in the story,
Mhm.
that were enjoying it. They baited you. Me, I'm like, oh yeah, that's why none of this makes any fucking sense, because it's not so fucking supposed to.
Right. It was a big
Yeah.
troll to the fans and like its critics.
So, yeah.
So, you know, again, maybe I missed the big meta joke of the whole thing. Again, I
Nope.
enjoyed it. But, you know, like really the only thing we got out of this show was Jen sort of coming to terms with the fact that she has powers now. But earlier in the episode, there's when they are actually carrying on the plot of the previous episode where, you know, she's now trying to go after Intelligentsia. She's like dead set, like, I'm going to find these fucks and I'm going to sue the shit out of them for defamation and all this stuff. And, you know, Nikki's like, it's not going to work. Like, you're not going to find them. And it was playing off the fucking very thing that Daredevil told her in the previous episode. That notion of like, hey, there's certain things where the law fails and you could only only help people as She-Hulk, and then there's some people you could help as with the law. And like that should have been the fucking premise of the show. But it wasn't, based on this finale. That was all just everything, every little thing that they established was just thrown away, be like just to like land a joke, basically.
But didn't that in the end? Didn't she say, "I'm gonna"?
That scared me.
Didn't she say she's gonna do just what you said? Like
at the very end, she did.
Court and out of court.
Yeah, at the very end, she did say that. Yes. But you know, I'm just saying again, 9 episodes to get to this point, like unnecessary when you had shows like WandaVision that dealt with much more dense and nuanced subject matter that took place over the course of 6 episodes. So why would you have your more serious shit be told over the course of 6 episodes and this over the course of 9? And somebody,
how long were those episodes?
Somebody said that to me. Those were like 40 minutes or an hour or whatever.
This is one of the shortest series finales in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. 36 minutes or something, a minute or two shorter.
It was all over the place for sure. But I guess it's meant to be that way, right? Like the way you were explaining it, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, that's
for me. I didn't feel like I needed to have like this great reveal because the show the whole time didn't really like. I know you said they dropped the little nuggets and stuff, but it wasn't big enough for me to think that it was really going anywhere. So when it didn't really go anywhere, I didn't have. It was kind of expected for me for it to be this way. I didn't think there would be some type of I don't know, massive plot reveal or something.
You predicted the letdown, and thusly we're not let down.
Not let down. I wouldn't call it a letdown because
Harmon didn't have any expectations going in.
The show so far hasn't been like a show where it's like I'm super invested in anyway, because it's not that type of show for me. So
yeah,
I don't think the story is meant to be that way.
Well, to be fair, as a Marvel fan, it wasn't that type of show for me either. I wasn't super invested in it. Again, I enjoyed it. I thought it was funny at times. I liked the little story bits that they were giving Jen, the little bit of character stuff of like, hey, she's really devoted to the law. Now she's got to learn like a whole nother separate thing that she could use to help people. That was all cool. You know, coming out of her, using She-Hulk to come out of her shell as Jen and stuff like that. All great stuff. And all that stuff was good throughout. I just think the one part of it didn't really pay off. I mean, maybe it did at the end there, but I don't know. Dusty, how about you? You just full on hated it?
It was not surprising to me, I guess I should say. I mean, like you guys said, we built up all these storylines, and I told you guys, you know, when she slept with a dude, you're like, oh, they got her blood. I'm like, no, they didn't. Like they tease this big ass fucking vibranium. They tease this big ass vibranium needle, and then she goes on a date and gets laid. And like, yeah, we got her blood. Yeah, like no. And then you're like, oh my god, Todd is the creator of Intelligentsia. He's Hulk King. Oh my god, so surprised.
When that stuff,
it feels like they spent an entire season like building up fans on all these false storylines just to shit on them at the end and say, yeah, you guys can predict all you want and we could throw a curveball at you, which fine, I guess, but I'm like you, Dan. I don't understand the point of the season. The reason for comics is to understand what it's like in the day-to-day life of a superhero, correct?
Mhm.
They spent an entire season dangling these threads in front of you, and then at the end of it, Jennifer's like, oh, no, fuck this. This is about me. This is about my story. This is about me dealing with day-to-day lives. You guys need to calm down. Like, they spent an entire season basically saying this is why people read comic books. Yeah, no shit. Yeah, we
Right.
tuned in because we wanted to see She-Hulk, and all we got was, okay, yeah, this is why people read comic books. But at the same time, like, these aren't necessarily the comic books that people buy.
Well, so I watched, I don't know if you watched it, but Ryan Airy on Screen Crush, he made a decent point, I thought, that this ending really brought the MCU back to its roots, in that Phase 1 was one of the reasons why it was so successful, is that it kept fans on their toes. And it always sort of pushed the boundaries of the things that they can get away with. You know, you think back to Guardians. Nobody thought a Guardians of the Galaxy movie would work, much less a comedy would work, and it did. And they were constantly pushing the bounds. And now we're at a point in the MCU where majority of fans are starting to feel the malaise and like, okay, well maybe Marvel's starting to like lose their stride a little bit. Things are starting to get a little bit stale, and that this, just like they did in Phase 1, is, hey, we could still fucking keep you on your toes. Like, we could do shows about literally anything and throw you a fucking curveball. And in that, I'm like, okay, fine. However, here's where my gripe is. And again, none of this is to say I didn't enjoy it. I did. However, you're selling Disney Plus as a product. And Marvel is one of your flagship products. Basically, the Marvel shows and fucking Star Wars. Only reason to have Disney Plus. What is it, $14 a month or whatever? And tack that onto Netflix and Hulu and fucking Amazon and all the other services people are paying for. I don't pay for it because I'm not a fucking bozo. But, you know,
How do you watch this content, Dan?
if you if you're paying for all this stuff, you know, especially with the way things are in real life with like the economy and stuff, like the people are struggling. You have to cut corners somewhere. So, why should I be like, Marvel's success has relied on the fact that their fan base is dedicated. They can make movies. They've made a whole cinematic universe solely reliant on the fact that, yeah, of course people are going to go see the previous movie, so they'll have a little bit of idea of what's going on in this movie. And they took that even further with the TV series. It's like, yeah, our fans are devoted. They'll buy Disney Plus and they'll watch every show, so they'll be prepared from movie to show to movie to show and back and forth. But people aren't doing that, because if you look at the numbers, we talked about it briefly a while back, Ms. Marvel apparently had very low viewership in terms of like amongst Marvel fans. And I'd imagine this show does too. Maybe more people are watching it just to see what all the fucking hubbub is about on the internet.
Yeah.
So like,
I mean, is that a quality content issue though, or is that like a fucking personal belief and like?
No, I mean, maybe
like what we've seen with the anti-woke. That's what I'm saying. Like what we're seeing with the anti-woke stuff. Like,
it's both.
Yeah, I think we are seeing. I think it's time to admit that we are seeing a little bit of quantity over quality coming out of Marvel. At least
we saw that with Moon Knight
Yeah,
already.
Well, I don't, because you can have quantity and it could still be good.
Yeah, but it's hard to keep that up when you have a fucking new show every 2 months and then a movie every few months, and it's like this. Like they're putting out like 40 things a year now. It's like,
well, I mean, what the rumor is that Kevin Feige spread too thin,
Spread too thin.
And now they just fucking delayed a bunch of movies, a bunch of big movies. Blade, Fantastic Four,
delayed,
Deadpool. Like, so why are those getting delayed? If not for, hey, we need to probably give this. I also read today, Dusty, I don't know if you had this lined up for your news piece for this week, but I saw that they gave Mahershala Ali full creative control over any script rewrites that he might want. So the rumors of him
I had not seen that.
The rumors of him being displeased probably are true. And Kevin was like, hey, listen, I really want you part of this project. Fucking do what you want with the script. Give any input you want. And that's that. So like clearly they're struggling a little bit. And, you know, Is it because they're too spread thin? Maybe. I don't know. But, you know, I don't know. Again, that's not to say the show was bad.
Maybe. Or maybe the fans are just expecting too much.
Yeah, I don't know. Overall, I just felt like, and it has nothing to do with like Jen or her being a female or fucking the
Nope.
CGI or any of that stuff.
I mean, for some people it does, but for most
So
people,
fuck
it
those
doesn't.
people.
Yeah.
Those people are fucking idiots. But I'm saying for me personally, my feelings on it, I didn't hate the show, didn't love it. I enjoyed it. I had fun with it. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I feel like it was just a vehicle to introduce Daredevil, She-Hulk, and Scar. That's it. And anything that came in between wasn't really super important to them.
Yeah, I agree with you. The story was overall pointless. None of the storylines through the entire season made any sense or came to any fruition because it was derailed at the end by the wall break. But we got Daredevil, we got World War Hulk, we got
Possibly.
X-Men, we got all kinds of announcements. Yeah.
Soft,
we got all kinds of
soft
announcements
stuff,
and
teases.
sprinklings of soft stuff and teases.
Yeah.
Right.
And then we got her breaking the fourth wall, and then we'll see where it goes from there. But I'm
Faithfully,
I'm glad this is over.
it was
I'm glad.
faithful to the comics. I mean, that's cool. It was very on brand for her to do this. So that was cool.
Somewhat. Yeah.
I
I mean,
think,
if it's faithful to the comics and
yeah.
if it's true to that, I feel like there shouldn't really be many complaints. We keep talking about the anti-woke shit they show in the show and all this, making fun of those type of people.
Yeah.
They could just be saying like, we see what you're saying, but we don't care.
Well, no, that is what
We're
did.
gonna put this out. It honors how She-Hulk is in the comics. Not everything has to be this grand scale
Yeah. No.
thing that ties into the story. It could just be another
And I'm on
one
board with that.
season show.
Yeah, and I'm on board with that. I'm perfectly fine with not having ties to the greater MCU. I didn't.
Yeah, but they did tie it to the greater MCU.
A
No, I'm
little
saying
bit.
it doesn't have to be like on a grand epic
Yeah,
scale.
he
Like it can be
means-
little things.
Yeah, right, like
and
they
it's
did.
fine. Not everything is gonna because at
Right.
the end.
Yeah, no, and I understand her trope about he's trying to steal my blood to do, that's an old trope in comics. Is
Yeah.
they've got the superhero blood, let's get their blood, it's going to turn
Yeah.
me superhero.
I'm
Right.
Oh my
MacGuffin.
god, he's going to inject himself. Is this going to be the Red Hulk? No.
Yeah.
Oh, we got you again.
It almost felt like they just you do a bit too long where it becomes not funny. That's almost what
Yeah,
it
I mean, I
felt like.
mentioned that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely felt like it ran a little long.
That's almost like what it felt like. It's like, by the time you get to this big thing, like this was the plot, like this 9-episode season was a big joke. And
Right.
and this was the punchline.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like, okay, you took a little bit long to get there to the point where it's like
I would agree.
we get it. Okay.
I would agree.
So that's my only thing. And ultimately, at least for me, this show, like, I do think there are very interesting things that you could have explored with Jen that they did just a little bit.
Yeah.
And what they showed didn't make me interested or excited to see her in any future Marvel projects. Not that I don't want her to appear, so shut the fuck up, people who are going to be already fucking typing. You just don't like women. No, not the case at all. Her characterization, they didn't give me anything that I'm compelled to see play out. Like, for instance,
I understand that.
I'm
yeah.
excited for the new Captain America movie because I think the story that they developed with Sam Wilson being Captain America in a country like the United States, for obvious reasons, there's more to explore there.
Yeah.
And what's on his shoulders. We didn't get any of that with her. There's nothing there that's like, what do I want? Am I excited to see her fucking Matt Murdock in Avengers 4? Like, I'm not. I don't care. That's
Was
that's
the
what it is for
biggest
me.
problem with this show. Yeah, I mean, it was not a witty courtroom drama or
Or comedy.
comedy in that matter. Like, it wasn't really funny or engaging. We didn't really get to see Jennifer / She-Hulk develop as a character. We basically saw the writers troll the viewers to the end and say, haha, fuck you, while they sprinkled some threads to the greater MCU along the way. It felt like and at the end, she's like, dude, this is not what this show's about. This show's supposed to be about me. The whole fucking show was about what you said it wasn't about. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I do disagree with you that they didn't give her any development. I think they did a little bit. It's just it took a back seat.
Sure, a little.
It just took a back seat to the joke, is what it was.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
Absolutely. I could agree with that.
all the stuff that was actually interesting about her and is interesting about her was at the expense of the joke. That's basically how I feel. Again, I enjoyed the season as a whole. I'll probably never watch it again if I'm being honest. It wasn't one of those that I'm just like, oh man, that was fucking sick. But you know, it exists. It did its job. It got people fucking talking. It let fans know that like, hey, we're listening closely. I mean, we always knew they were. You don't fucking do expert fucking little fan service moments like Cap lifting Mjolnir or shit, you know, that took place on your left, stuff that fucking was said in passing 10 fucking movies prior. Of course they're listening, and of course they care. So, I don't know. That stuff was cool. It did its job, I guess. It seems like we're all pretty much on board. I'm not as harsh on it as you are, Dusty, and I don't think Marvin is either, but at least we all agree that like a lot of the interesting elements of this show that coulda, woulda, and shoulda been took a backseat to the joke that sort of dominated the series at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, let us know in the comments what you guys thought. If you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing to us and hitting the notification bell. Check out our website, harshlanguage.tv, where you can find all our content in one little neat package. And we'll catch you in the next one.
See ya.
Asta.